Eunji Park stood at her front porch, watching her golden retriever Buddy sniff around the neatly trimmed grass. The morning sunlight cast long shadows across her suburban neighborhood, a quiet street where every house looked almost identical, with perfectly maintained lawns and carefully painted fences. Her neighbor, Jae-sung Kim, was already outside, meticulously arranging his garden tools. He was a retired engineer in his late 50s, known for his obsessive cleanliness and strict adherence to neighborhood rules. Every weekend, he would spend hours trimming his lawn, ensuring not a single blade of grass was out of place. Buddy, a playful and somewhat mischievous dog, had a habit of wandering near Jae-sung's perfectly manicured lawn. This morning was no different. The dog trotted closer to the property line, his tail wagging with carefree abandon. "Buddy, come back," Eunji called, but her dog seemed more interested in exploring. Jae-sung looked up, his face immediately turning sour. "Park," he shouted, his voice carrying a mix of anger and frustration. "Keep your dog off my lawn." Eunji sighed. This was a recurring argument between them. Jae-sung had complained multiple times about Buddy potentially leaving droppings or disturbing his pristine garden. She walked over, grabbing Buddy's collar and pulling him back. "He's not doing anything," she replied, her tone defensive. Jae-sung pointed a gardening tool towards her. "Last time, he left droppings near my rose bushes. Do you know how long I've cultivated those roses?" The argument was familiar. Eunji, a 35-year-old graphic designer who worked from home, had little patience for her neighbor's constant complaints. She was a single woman who had moved into the neighborhood 2 years ago, and Jae-sung had been critical of her from day one. "I always clean up after him," she said, trying to keep her voice calm. "Always?" Jae-sung scoffed. "I've seen evidence to the contrary." Buddy sat beside Eunji, oblivious to the tension. He wagged his tail, looking between his owner and the angry neighbor with innocent curiosity. The neighborhood was quiet, with other residents likely listening through their windows. These morning disputes had become something of an entertainment for the other residents. Some found it amusing, others found it exhausting. Eunji knew Jae-sung was particular. He was the kind of neighbor who would measure the height of grass with a ruler and report any deviation to the homeowners association. His lawn was his pride, a perfect green carpet that looked more like a golf course than a residential yard. "I'll be more careful," Eunji said, though she didn't mean it. She was tired of his constant criticism. Jae-sung humphed, returning to his gardening. His movements were precise, each tool placed exactly where it belonged, each plant trimmed with mathematical accuracy. As the morning progressed, Eunji took Buddy for a walk. The neighborhood was a typical suburban landscape. Identical houses, carefully maintained landscapes, and an unspoken set of rules that everyone was expected to follow. When they returned, Buddy needed to relieve himself. Eunji noticed Jae-sung was not outside. His trash can stood at the edge of his perfectly maintained property line. A small mischievous thought crossed her mind. Why not dispose of Buddy's waste in Jae-sung's trash can? It was technically not on his lawn, and it would save her the trouble of carrying a bag during their walk. She quickly cleaned up after Buddy, and when no one was looking, dropped the sealed bag into Jae-sung's trash can. Little did she know, this simple act would set in motion a series of events that would change not just her life, but potentially the course of human history. The morning sun continued to rise, casting its warm light on the quiet suburban street, unaware of the cosmic adventure that was about to unfold. Coral had been living on Earth for 3 months, carefully observing human behavior. As a junior diplomatic representative from the Galactic Alliance, his mission was to study and report on human social interactions. His current assignment was a suburban neighborhood study, chosen for its seemingly predictable environment. That morning, Coral was organizing his advanced waste analysis equipment when he noticed something unusual in his trash receptacle. The biochemical signature was unlike anything in his extensive database. It wasn't just ordinary waste. It contained complex organic compounds that triggered immediate alerts in his monitoring systems. His communication implant began vibrating, sending urgent signals back to the Galactic Alliance headquarters. The waste sample contained biological markers that suggested potential contamination protocols had been violated. Coral looked out his window, scanning the neighborhood. His advanced visual sensors quickly identified Eunji walking her golden retriever. Something about her seemed both ordinary and peculiar, a contradiction that fascinated his scientific mind. The waste analysis continued. Complex algorithms mapped the biochemical structure, comparing it against thousands of known biological databases. Each scan revealed more complexity. The waste contained DNA markers, bacterial compositions, and trace elements that defied standard classification. His communication device pinged. A senior diplomat from the Galactic Alliance was requesting an immediate report. Coral carefully prepared his initial findings, knowing that his report could have significant diplomatic implications. Unidentified biological contamination detected. He dictated into his recording device. Source: unknown human female. Potential breach of interstellar sanitation protocols. The neighborhood remained quiet, unaware of the cosmic-level investigation happening inside Coral's living space. Neighbors continued their morning routines, mowing lawns, walking dogs, checking mailboxes, completely oblivious to the potential intergalactic incident brewing. Coral's species had strict waste management regulations. Any unauthorized biological material introduction into a designated waste collection zone was considered a serious offense. His preliminary analysis suggested this was more than an accidental contamination. He began preparing formal documentation for a legal complaint. The process was meticulous. Every detail needed precise recording. Galactic Alliance legal protocols required extensive evidence before any official action could be taken. His communication implant showed multiple incoming signals from headquarters. Senior diplomats were now aware of the unusual waste sample. Questions flooded in. Was this an intentional act, a potential biological threat, or simply a misunderstanding of cosmic proportions? Outside, Eunji remained unaware. She continued her morning routine, drinking coffee and preparing for her workday. Buddy the dog lay nearby, occasionally wagging his tail and looking up at her with innocent eyes. Coral's advanced sensors continued scanning. He needed to understand the full context of this biological introduction. Why would a human deliberately place waste in a specific container? What social or cultural signal was being communicated? The Galactic Alliance had extensive files on human behavior, but this scenario seemed to challenge everything in their existing database. Waste disposal appeared to be more than a simple biological necessity. It seemed to carry complex social meanings. By midday, Coral had compiled a comprehensive report. Thousands of data points, biochemical analyses, and contextual observations were neatly organized. The report would be sent to multiple departments: diplomatic relations, biological research, and interspecies legal compliance. His final conclusion was both clinical and intriguing. This was not just a waste disposal incident. It was a potential first contact scenario that revealed unexpected layers of human social interaction. As afternoon approached, Coral prepared for the next phase. He would need to interact directly with the human responsible for the waste introduction. This would require careful diplomatic maneuvering and a deep understanding of human communication protocols. The suburban neighborhood continued its peaceful existence, completely unaware that a simple act of throwing dog waste into a trash can had just triggered an unprecedented interstellar investigation that would soon capture global attention. Coral adjusted his human-style clothing, checked his communication devices, and prepared to make first official contact with Eunji Park, the unsuspecting human at the center of what might become the most significant diplomatic event in recent galactic history. The news broke unexpectedly. Within hours, every major television network, online platform, and social media channel carried the strange story of an alien diplomatic complaint over a dog waste incident. Kim Min-seo, a young reporter from a local news station, was the first to break the story. Her initial tweet read, "Alien diplomat files legal action against local resident over trash can incident." Seriously, the hashtag trash can diplomacy began trending worldwide. Internet memes exploded. People shared jokes, create comedic videos, and speculated about the bizarre situation. Eunji's face, captured from her social media profile, became an unexpected viral sensation. Government officials scrambled. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs called emergency meetings. Scientists, diplomats, and legal experts gathered in closed rooms, trying to understand the unprecedented situation. International media went crazy. CNN, BBC, and Al Jazeera sent their top reporters to cover the story. Camera crews descended on the small suburban neighborhood, turning it into a global spectacle. Jae-sung Kim, the neighbor who had constantly complained about Buddy, found himself suddenly famous. Reporters interviewed him repeatedly, hoping for dramatic statements. He maintained his usual precise demeanor, discussing neighborhood rules and waste management with surprising calm. Eunji remained mostly silent. Her graphic design company started receiving hundreds of interview requests. Her phone rang constantly. Social media followers increased from a few hundred to hundreds of thousands within hours. Conspiracy theorists had a field day. Some claimed this was a planned alien introduction. Others suggested it was a government cover-up. Online forums discussed every possible angle of the incident. Scientific communities became deeply interested. Biochemists wanted to understand the aliens' waste analysis technology. Sociologists analyzed human-alien communication dynamics. Lawyers debated the legal implications of interstellar waste disposal protocols. Television comedy shows prepared special segments. Late-night hosts wrote jokes. Comedians created entire stand-up routines around the incident. The story became a global punchline. Yet underneath, serious discussions about first contact continued. The Galactic Alliance Communications Center received thousands of incoming messages. Their standard protocols never anticipated such a scenario. Junior diplomats were overwhelmed with the sudden global attention. Coral, the alien diplomat at the center of the incident, became an unexpected celebrity. His official photograph, a professional headshot showing his unique extraterrestrial features, was shared millions of times online. Educational channels started producing documentaries. What did this incident reveal about potential alien interactions? How would humanity respond to first contact initiated through a seemingly mundane suburban dispute? Government spokespersons gave carefully worded statements. They emphasized diplomatic channels were open. No aggressive actions would be taken. The situation was being handled professionally. Social media influencers created content explaining the incident. YouTube videos broke down every possible angle. TikTok creators made short, comedic reenactments of the trash can moment. Universities began organizing emergency symposiums. Experts from multiple disciplines wanted to understand the broader implications. This was more than a legal dispute. It was a potential turning point in human-alien relations. Eunji's graphic design portfolio website crashed from excessive traffic. Her dog Buddy became an internet sensation. Meme creators placed his image on multiple backgrounds, creating viral content. International politicians started making statements. Some saw humor in the situation. Others emphasized the need for calm and diplomatic resolution. Press conferences became increasingly complex and bizarre. The neighborhood where the incident occurred became a tourist attraction. People drove by, hoping to see the famous trash can, the house of the alien diplomat, and Eunji's residence. Conspiracy websites published multiple theories. Some claimed this was an elaborate government experiment. Others suggested it was a marketing stunt for an upcoming science fiction movie. As days passed, the story continued to evolve. What started as a simple neighborhood dispute had transformed into a global phenomenon that questioned everything humans understood about potential extraterrestrial interactions. The trash can stood silently, unaware of the global chaos it had initiated. a simple object that had become the unexpected catalyst for humanity's most bizarre first contact scenario. The courtroom buzzed with tension. Reporters filled every available seat, cameras lined the walls, and global audiences watched through live streams. Yunji sat quietly, Buddy beside her, looking surprisingly calm amid the international spectacle. Coral arrived precisely at 9:00 a.m., his alien features drawing immediate attention. His diplomatic uniform, a sleek silver-blue outfit, contrasted sharply with the traditional human courtroom setting. Legal translators stood ready, advanced communication devices humming softly. The judge, a seasoned woman named Park Jin-hee, looked equally bemused and serious. She understood the unprecedented nature of this hearing, the first known legal proceeding between a human and an extraterrestrial diplomatic representative. Ms. Yunji Park, Coral began, his translator converting his alien language into perfect Korean. You have violated complex interstellar waste management protocols. Yunji simply raised an eyebrow. I threw dog waste in a trash can, she responded matter-of-factly. The courtroom erupted in subtle laughter. Journalists scribbled notes furiously. The alien diplomatic team looked confused by the human reaction. Coral presented intricate scientific data. Graphs, biochemical breakdowns, and complex diagrams filled the courtroom screens. Each slide demonstrated the potential biological complications of his complaint. To him, this was a serious violation of cosmic sanitation regulations. But something unexpected happened. As Coral presented his meticulously prepared case, the human observers began to see beyond the technical details. They witnessed an alien civilization's complex bureaucratic thinking, a system so precise, so rule-bound, that a simple dog waste disposal could trigger an interstellar incident. Yunji's lawyer, a sharp young attorney named Kim Sung-ho, took a unique approach. Instead of defending her actions technically, he highlighted human cultural nuances. My client's action represents typical neighborhood problem-solving, he explained. She saw an available trash receptacle and used it efficiently. This demonstrates human adaptability and practical thinking. The alien diplomatic team exchanged glances. Their communication implants buzzed with rapid translations and analysis. They were witnessing something unprecedented, a human successfully challenging their rigid protocols through simple, pragmatic logic. Coral's scientific brain began processing the situation differently. Human behavior wasn't just random. It followed complex social algorithms that their initial studies had failed to comprehend. Buddy, seemingly unaware of the cosmic significance, occasionally wagged his tail or yawned. His casual demeanor became another point of fascination for the alien observers. The judge listened carefully, her expressions shifting between amusement and professional consideration. She recognized this wasn't just a legal case, it was a potential first-contact diplomatic breakthrough. Hours of testimony revealed something profound. Humans possessed a remarkable ability to navigate complex social situations through intuition, practicality, and an almost rebellious approach to rigid systems. The Galactic Alliance representatives realized their extensive databases and protocols couldn't fully capture human complexity. Yunji's simple act of throwing dog waste in a trash can had become a masterclass in human adaptability. As the hearing progressed, global audiences watched in fascination. What started as a neighborhood dispute was transforming into a pivotal moment of human-alien understanding. Coral's final statement surprised everyone. Humans demonstrate an extraordinary capacity for problem-solving that transcends our current understanding, he declared. The translation carried both scientific precision and a hint of unexpected respect. The courtroom fell silent. Something fundamental had shifted in interstellar diplomatic relations. When the judge finally delivered her verdict, it was neither a complete victory for Yunji nor a total loss for Coral. Instead, she established a new precedent, one that recognized the nuanced, complex nature of cross-cultural and cross-species interactions. Buddy, oblivious to the cosmic significance, simply fell asleep on the courtroom floor. The first contact had occurred, not through grand speeches or military encounters, but through a suburban resident's practical approach to neighborhood waste management. Humanity had passed its first interstellar diplomatic test, one trash can at a time. 6 months after the historic court hearing, the world looked different. The Galactic Alliance had officially extended a probationary membership to humanity, a decision that shocked diplomatic circles across multiple star systems. Eun-G Park became an unexpected global icon. Her simple act of throwing dog waste into a trash can had transformed her into a symbol of human unpredictability and adaptability. Government agencies invited her to diplomatic seminars. Universities requested her to speak about accidental diplomacy. Coral, the alien diplomat who initially filed the complaint, had been reassigned to a special research division. His detailed studies of human behavior became required reading for intergalactic diplomatic training programs. His research paper, titled Unexpected Diplomatic Interactions, a case study of canine waste management, became a groundbreaking document. The global scientific community discovered something remarkable. Human problem-solving skills, their ability to navigate complex social situations, and their intuitive approach to challenges had impressed the Galactic Alliance more than decades of structured diplomatic interactions. Buddy, Eun-G's golden retriever, became an unexpected mascot. Merchandise featuring his image appeared worldwide. Children's books were written about the dog who inadvertently helped humanity make first contact. Diplomatic protocols changed. The Galactic Alliance created new categories of interaction, acknowledging that rigid bureaucratic systems might not always capture the nuanced complexity of intelligent species behaviors. Jae-Sung Kim, the neighbor who had constantly complained about Buddy, found himself unexpectedly famous. Interview requests flooded his mailbox. He maintained his precise, orderly demeanor, occasionally mentioning the importance of neighborhood rules. Technological exchanges began. The Galactic Alliance shared advanced waste management technologies. Humans offered their unique problem-solving methodologies. Scientific collaborations sprouted in unexpected fields, from urban planning to social communication strategies. International governments established new departments. The extraterrestrial diplomatic interaction offices became crucial government branches. Linguists, scientists, and diplomats worked together to understand potential alien communication strategies. Social media platforms created special verification badges for confirmed alien-human interactions. Online communities discussed potential cultural exchanges. Conspiracy theories evolved from wild speculations to more nuanced discussions about interstellar relationships. Educational systems worldwide updated curriculums. Schools introduced courses about potential alien interactions. Children learned about the importance of adaptability, creative thinking, and open-mindedness. Research institutions received massive funding. Scientists wanted to understand the complex biochemical and social dynamics that had led to this unprecedented diplomatic breakthrough. Eun-G continued her graphic design work, somewhat amused by her newfound global status. She occasionally walked Buddy, now a celebrity in their neighborhood. Reporters still sometimes followed them, hoping for another unexpected diplomatic moment. Coral continued his research, fascinated by human complexity. His reports to the Galactic Alliance highlighted humanity's potential. He emphasized their ability to solve problems through unconventional methods, their emotional intelligence, and their remarkable adaptability. The trash can that started the entire incident became a museum piece. Preserved carefully, it symbolized a moment when humanity proved its cosmic potential through an ordinary, everyday action. Global communication networks buzzed with excitement. Documentaries, books, and academic papers explored every angle of the trash can diplomacy incident. What seemed like a simple neighborhood dispute had fundamentally altered humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. International space programs received unprecedented funding. Countries competed to demonstrate their readiness for potential alien interactions. Space exploration became a global priority, driven by the excitement of potential first contact. Buddy, unaware of his cosmic significance, continued to enjoy his daily walks, occasionally sniffing around neighborhood trash cans, now watched with a mixture of humor and reverence by local residents. The Galactic Alliance's probationary membership was more than a diplomatic gesture. It was a recognition of humanity's potential, a species capable of transforming a simple act of neighborhood waste disposal into an interstellar diplomatic breakthrough. As the sun set on another ordinary day, the world knew nothing would ever be the same again. Humanity had proven its worth, one trash can at a time.